There's me.
Hi, how's everybody today? Hi, Viviani. Thank you for showing up and being here with us. This is an exciting day. I have a good friend of mine. I'm Valerie. This is Illumination Portal. And today I'm talking to Debbie Diment, who is an animal healer. And she has a fascinating story. And I'm just gonna let her talk because I couldn't repeat it as well as she is. Um, Hi Debbie, thank you for coming in
Hi.
and hanging out.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Yes.
Well, where would you like me to start?
Well, okay, because I was talking to Debbie backstage about, most of this community here, psychic, intuitive, empathic, and she was is saying to me that when she knew as a child, she just, well, it just seemed normal to her to connect to animals and to speak to animals, kind of like how we knew it was normal that we knew things. We didn't think we were different or anything like that. And I'm just going to say this, I believe everybody's psychic and intuitive, but maybe not empathic. But so start from there. Start from when you were a kid and your parents trying to keep you away from the horses.
Well, yeah, to go back to yeah, my second word was actually horse, and my 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 middle class parents were horrified at the idea because horses are horribly expensive. They tend to get themselves injured quite quickly. But we always had dogs and cats growing up, and any time that I could be around a horse, I certainly was. And they kind of grudgingly gave me riding lessons after I did not give up for multiple years. So I had riding lessons, and then I worked in private stables whenever I was a teenager. And but yeah, as I was telling Valerie, I was always connected to the animals. I didn't realize whenever I was much younger, because I just thought it was normal that you could communicate with the animals. And it wasn't even a strong connection.
We might have a little bit of internet. She's
Standing, but
way, oh, there she is.
where are we at? Okay, great.
It's okay.
But
We talked out. We came back. It's all right.
we're slipping out. But yeah, I began testing with a fish and asking if it could actually hear me, and it responded by it was a saltwater fish, and so it put its little beak out of the water and swam towards to indicate that yes, indeed, he had heard me, which kind of, I gotta be honest, whenever I first connected, it kind of freaked me out because I had been raised to keep everything under the basket. Don't ever let anybody know that you have these gifts, especially outside the family. So yeah, I hear you. So yeah, coming out and being able to say that, it's quite a lot,
It is. It's so fascinating though to hear how other people come into their own, right, and understanding. The fish was the first one. The zoo, I love the zoo ones. I'm going to talk about the zoo. These are fascinating stories, I think.
Well, we were at the St. Louis Zoo, and it was a hot day, and the first one was, I'll just go really, really quickly. It was very hot. The giraffes have a concrete the original zoo containment areas for the giraffes. And then the doors were wide open to their much larger, much nicer facility. They have a beautiful enclosure. They had full access to it, but since it was hot, everybody was standing inside the concrete enclosures. And so all the humans were, of course, trooping through, and all you could see of the giraffes were their knees. Their heads were way up into the ceilings. And so I stood by the knees of one giraffe and just mentally asked, can you hear me? And the next thing I know, I've got this huge doe eyes that are he was shocked because he had never encountered a human that he could hear before. Not like that. So that was quite fun. And then the other one, which was a lot of fun, I had gone over to the hippo enclosure, which is immaculate. It's done up as an underwater river scene. And so there's hippos that get to have free range in their pool. And they were being elusive that day. They were all in the water, but since they were further away, the murky water was just kind of stopping people from being able to really view them. And this one lady, she had actually traveled from Australia to see them. And this is from Australia all the way to the St. Louis Zoo just to see a hippo. And so she stood there with her camera and she was begging and pleading. And of course the hippos are like, yeah, you know, we're not hearing anything. I'm quite happy hanging out over here taking my nap. Thank you very much. And so mentally I just asked, because there had been a male that had come by previously. And I said, hey, you know, this lady, she's come a long way. And to a hippo, I went ahead and explained to him, I just shot him an image of how far she would have had to swim to actually see him. And I said, if you wouldn't mind, could you do me a favor and could you just show off a little in front of her? And so he did at least 3 passes just back and forth in front of the lady. And she was just, she was over the moon, just super, super, super duper excited with it, taking tons of photos. And it just really made her highlight of her life, I think, at that point. And while she was taking the photos, when he finished, he came over and he swam and hung out next to me. And hippo's head's huge. I had no idea they were that big. It's a 5-foot head because he's right alongside of me. But he's just chilling. And she looked over at me and she put 2 and 2 together with him just right next to the glass with me. And she asked, she said, did you do that? Did you ask him to do that? And I said, yeah. And, you know, she thanked me. She said, oh my God, that was amazing.
That is so amazing.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. My main thing with the animals, in my normal everyday life, I use a mouth just the same as everybody else does. It's very rare for me to do that mentally. I always have to check what the animal's surroundings are first. And if they're going to be safe, especially if it's going to be a wild animal, or like in the case of the zoo, I want to make sure in the case of the fish, I want to make sure that they're not being accidentally, if they act out with their behaviors, which a lot of them playfully will offer up, suddenly that's a warning sign to a zookeeper or a warning sign to a fish keeper that something's seriously drastically wrong. And the reason why is because normal behaviorisms in animals, you know what they're doing. And if all of a sudden your animal is acting loopy, it's usually something neurological, or you know, they're sick somehow. So you all of a sudden it can cause a panic. So I always do that first. I make sure that they're safe. And then I will reach out to them. I always keep, I usually keep my energy very much under wraps, and just depending on the animal. Some animals are a little more gregarious than others. So they're like, wow, this is great. I had no idea humans could even do this. This is awesome. And they're just chatty and all over it. But then I've got other ones that are like, oh, I had no idea. Oh my word. You know, it kind of freaks them out a little bit. So you kind of have to just take it as it goes. But when it comes to the actual energy healing itself, I had always been very close to the horses. And when I started to work at the stables, I was already doing massage on the horses. And I had quite a few clients that wanted me to learn chiropractic work back then so that I could work on horses. But that was
Hold on.
And, fast forward quite a lot. Yeah, fast forward quite a lot of years. So the massage, the shiatsu, really hadn't even been created, I guess you could say. I think that did come in the mid 80s, but that would have been on the East Coast, and only 1 or 2 practitioners at the time. So fast forward to 2003, and I was able to take a shiatsu course for horse and rider, and that was in California, and with Gary Whiting. I don't know if Teach would want me to mention his name, but he's kind of wondering about me doing all the energy healing stuff now. But I was taught hands-on, and that was the first time that I'd ever heard even of a meridian. And what a meridian is we have rivers of energy that flow around our body, and they go in a specific direction, and they can get congested. It's a lot like looking at a stream or a creek. If it's fast, free and clear, fast flowing, the water's sweet. If you suddenly have trees that fall across it, or if the water has rocks and mud, it will slow down. It will begin to stink. And if you're not careful, you're going to have a complete blockage, which ends up being swamp, which will then show up in the body as a disease. Then physically it'll show up as a disease. Now, I've got this as a question a lot. There's a chicken and egg effect with it, because they're like, well, which one came first? Was it the blockage that caused the disease? Or is it the disease that showed up as the energy blockage? And I say yes. It can be either, or it can be both. I don't really concern myself with how it got started. Okay. My job is simply to get in there and to free up the congestion and to make sure that the meridians are actually flowing in the correct order. Just depending on, well, I'll give you an example. One of the dogs that I worked on was a few years back, and it shocked even me. Big dog. I think he was a bull mastiff, beautiful guy. And he had been snake bit over in the United Kingdom. Now they do have a poisonous snake over there, and this was what tagged him, was an asp. But I am told that the asp is no more dangerous really than like a bumblebee sting. And since he was a very large dog, I didn't think too much of it whenever it first occurred. I thought, oh, that's too bad. But she was immediately taking him to the vet clinic. And I thought, great, they'll have the antivenom. They'll go ahead and clean the wound, which was what I was urging her. I was like, you don't understand. Snake bites are really nasty. Even if you were to have a non-venomous snake, they have bacteria in those itty bitty teeth. And so it usually gets infected. You need to have antibiotics. So I thought, great, he's over there. That's awesome. I didn't think too much of it. A week later, I asked her how he was doing, fully expecting him to be completely rebounded. And she said, he's still at the vet clinic. The vets have no idea. He can't hold food down. And it looks really, really dire. I think we're going to lose him. And I'm like, what? Show me the photos. And so she immediately took photos of him at the vet clinic. And I'm like, oh, that's the problem. When the snake had actually bit him, it had bit him on a hind leg. It had actually tapped his stomach meridian and had reversed the flow of the stomach meridian. And it had actually started to a sequence to shut his organs down. That's what was happening. And I was like, whoops. No. Let's get this going the correct way. And so I went ahead and worked all of his meridians for him. And yeah, he immediately turned the corner. Now it was still a slow progress back. And I have some people too that they're like, well, I would never use a vet. I just want to use you. And I'm like, why would you do that? I'm just, I'm energy over here. I think you should work in tandem. It would be the same thing as, why in the world would you ignore if you have homeopathic tablets available that could help support that animal? Why would you ignore that? But I'm all about, if your animal, and everybody listen to this one, if your animal is actually having a medical emergency, take them to the vet. Don't play with this stuff unless you want to play with it as you're going to the vet. But you use them in tandem. But yeah, that was the deal. He actually had a meridian that was reversed, and that was what was causing his trouble.
Oh my goodness! Fascinating that you could see that though through a picture. Now, so when you look at an animal, and well, let's start about how you wanted to heal more animals, but everybody was really far away from you.
Yes, that was whenever I was still doing the hands-on, and I was so upset because it seemed like the ones that were the absolute most in need, they were 3-5 hours away from me, one-way drive. It was getting ridiculous. It's like, I'm gonna have to hire a private jet or something to be able to reach to all of these. And in some cases, unfortunately, they were half a world away, and I simply couldn't reach them. And so enter my guy, my heart horse, Galahad, had actually retired. He had been working for the Girl Scout camp the whole time. And on his retirement, I was able to bring him home. But he had been living with a large herd. He was the herd leader, and it had taken a toll on him. They had done a great job with him. But yeah, whenever I got him, I was instantly checking the diet, doing the herbs, and especially doing the hands-on shiatsu. Now, at the time, I myself actually had a really bad kidney infection and kidney stones. And so the first time that I worked with Galahad, he was fascinated because whenever I was younger, when we were both younger, I clearly had never had this knowledge. And so he was just absolutely fascinated. And I did have a kidney stone higher up in my back. And we were playing a small game. I was trying to see if I could affect his energy flow, the meridians, without touching him. And then it was like, how much of a space could we get? Well, it fascinated him. And he reached forward. Now, he did not touch me. There was about an 18-inch gap, but he did indicate with his nose towards my kidney, and the kidney stone moved. Now, it has to be said that energy horses are out there, but they are rare. You're not going to find this with every horse. In my life, I've had 2 energy horses, and I only know of about 3 others that I've encountered. So, but it began the game of how far away can I be from you? And that was where it really, it began as a game. And so we began playing how far can I stand from you and do this? And then it began a game of how far away can I be? And it overcame that problem of how do I help these animals? And of course I can reach clear around the world, which is what most energy healers now know. And it has to do with quantum physics.
Yes.
Yeah, it's actually quantum physics, people. And quantum entanglement.
Yeah.
Sorry, Einstein. It's quantum entanglement with the ethers.
I love her on her website. She had this on there. This is how I can do this, is quantum physics, quantum entanglement, and how to. It's like all of us here in our community do know that energy is everything, and we're exploring. Yeah, we're exploring more and more. Here's an energy healer. We know a lot of people who are energy healers, but she's you specifically work on animals, and she has 3 MP3s on her website, which is debbiedimentshop.com. And you play them in the background, but it also heals the humans. It heals all the family members, huh?
Yes. Yeah. It does. And the energy system that is in the MP3s, that was part of why I evolved to doing that as well, is I put what I do in, I guess you could say it is the most divine, correct flow and order onto the MP3. And what will happen with your body and the animals' bodies is their meridians will then be entrained to that frequency that's embedded in the MP3.
That is fascinating. Now, okay, so you went from Galahad he's helping you understand that you're an energy healer. Well, you knew you do something.
We actually learned at the same time. He had no idea to begin with. He had no idea that we could do this. And then as soon as I showed him the shiatsu, it was an instant enlightenment for him. That was something that our animal friends, you're going to find some that are very enlightened, and you're going to find some that they are there to help you. And as I was telling Valerie, is a lot of times they will take on our stress and our problems. They will carry our load. Yeah. And it will show up as the diseases.
Yes. And
they're rubbing out their fur or chewing a paw or whatever.
Right. Can we talk about that? Because the stress we emit out of our bodies on a daily basis, well, it affects the animals. It affects everything around us because everything's energy. And if we're just constantly at a high level of stress or unease or dis-ease, it affects the animals. And Debbie was saying a lot of them will chew on themselves, pull their fur out, chewing. I'm
Being
sorry,
sick,
what else?
taking on illnesses.
Taking on
Like
illnesses.
if the let's say the owner has an upset stomach and they're nervous and they can't really eat, that animal will a lot of times mirror what the human is doing. And some of it is psychological mirroring. They're seeing what their owner is doing. They're a pack animal, and they'll take that on. But some of it is because they have taken on your stress, and people don't freak out. I mentioned this to Valerie earlier. Our society has us so geared to be in our heads, and we are so overstimulated, and that's a lot of the trouble. And so you yourself can actually seek out frequency musics, anything. Epsom salt baths are nice. Your favorite essences. Did you want to do the grounding process?
Sure. Yeah. Everybody want to do. We're going to do. Well, Debbie's going to do a grounding process with us. Thank you so much. Yeah, because there is so much we can do for ourselves, but having an MP3 like this really would help any of us.
Yes,
in our
yes.
pets.
And there's 3 different levels of the MP3s that you're going to see for sale. It's a dog, a cat, and a horse. And of the 3, obviously the energy for the horse is quite larger and stronger. Partly because it's usually intended to be in a stall setting, stable setting. So it's got just a little bit more oomph to it. So you're going to know your animals the best. And so if you've got something, say like a hamster or a bird, go for something like the cat track. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but it will be the least amount of energy going out there. And meridians are meridians. And as Valerie has said, it's actually going to work on humans too. I tend to work for the animals mostly because the animals are who I'm here for. But when I started, it was definitely horse and rider because we understood that the energy system of the rider can and does affect the energy system and the muscling and the balance of the horse.
Wow, that's fascinating. I would have never put that together. That's really fascinating, even though I'm an energy advocate. But if you want to do the grounding, we would love that. Teresa's looking forward to it. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We appreciate you.
Yeah. So if you can just take a few deep, slow breaths in, and as we're doing that, you can close your eyes if you like, and you can look up just gently with your eyes closed. And you can imagine a light coming from above, and just let that be any color that you would like. Let it reach the top of your head and wash over your face and your neck, all the way down through your shoulders, your chest, your arms, through the belly. Let it pool in the hips. A lot of times we feel like we've got to go, go, go. We feel so stuck at the same time. So let that light just pool there a second, and then cascade down your thighs into your knees and into the ankles, all the way down through the feet and into planet Earth. Let Mother Earth absorb that. Now this is fun. Mother Earth is actually going to respond with her own colored energy, and it is going to rise up from underneath, and she's going to bring it up through your feet and your knees, and back up through your thighs and your hips, into the belly, and up into your heart space. Now, both of these energies are going to be mixing in your heart space. Let that go ahead and pool in your lungs and your heart. Now, take that energy and imagine that energy pushing out as a bubble completely surrounding you. Let that go out all directions, about 3 feet. And just absorb and cocoon you. And then you can set the intent that only your highest good only the frequencies, only the energies that are your highest good comes through that bubble. And then you can set that every morning and have that for your day. And if you get pulled off, you can quickly close your eyes and redo this to help bring in that grounding energy, cleansing and balancing and grounding and calming, and then set that as a bubble around you so that the outer world has so many different frequencies that just don't jive with us. And if we make the intent that only our highest good comes through that bubble, that will help a lot. As I was telling Valerie before, horse riders tend to be a lot more conscious of our energy system whenever we're around our horses, because they're a prey animal and they're huge, 1,200 pounds. So if you're coming home and you're going to the barn from work and you've had a really bad day, you've gotten into a fight with somebody on the drive over, or you're stressed out over the deadline for work and you just want to go for a trail ride, you're going to find if you're approaching your horse that way and you're freaked out, it's not going to be fun. They're going to be trying to run away from you, bolt, rear, doing basically anything that they can to get away from you. They're freaked out because they picked up that you're freaked out, and because they're a prey animal, they instantly think that something's going to eat them. So a lot of your equestrians, a lot of your horse riders will automatically be knowing, oh, I've got to really, before I go into the stall or even arrive at the barn, they'll sit in their car and they'll take a few deep breaths and they'll do this, either this centering exercise or something similar, something to where even just a few deep breaths to bring themselves back into the moment. And that will help hugely. That's the same thing with your dogs and your cats. If you come stomping in and you've had a really bad day and you hit the door and you're in a foul mood and you're just trying to get to, say, the kitchen, one of two things will happen. Your cat will take one look and bolt for the back bedroom. Or the other weirdest is they will suddenly become a stage 5 clinger. They will wrap themselves around your legs and tick you off even more. But what it is a lot of the animals, they have the capacity of about a toddler, 2-year-old, 2 to 5-year-old. And so when mommy and daddy are upset, they know mommy and daddy are upset, but they don't know why. And it scares them because that's their stability in life. And so, like I said, you'll have one of two things. Either they will take themselves from the area and be scarce until whatever ticked off mommy and daddy is gone, or they will be so terrified that something is going to swoop in and eat them that they will become the stage 5 clinger. So yeah, even just pausing and realizing that it's not that you did anything. You were simply overstimulated from the society. And the more that we can check ourselves and become aware of our own energy states, because you can go along happy as Larry and be pulled off guard. Just recenter yourself. That's okay.
See, I love that you acknowledge that. I love that you acknowledge that we are being bombarded in society and we are being pulled out of our center. I do say that a lot on my channel too, but I really never thought about, I knew that probably the animals or the pets didn't, they would pick up on that energy, but wow, that because they are there to comfort us, right? That's why we're all cohabitating.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they are here to help us. And as I said, some of them are a little more aware than others.
I'm sorry.
The dogs to be the guardian angels. They keep us grounded in earth. They keep us going for walkies and engaging in life. And sometimes we'd rather just curl in a ball and I won't say, just give it up, but pretty depressed, and the dogs will actually keep you moving and keep you connected with people. And then the cats, I refer to the cats as cosmic kitties because I find with them when they arrive, especially if you've got a cat that entered your life and you weren't really expecting it or you didn't want it. A lot of times if you are of the psychic bent or you're exploring the unknown world, it will be there to help you to go up in your ascension. They are their cosmic kitties, is what I call them. They will actually help you to open higher dimensions.
Oh wow, I love that. I always felt that, but I never heard anyone say that, especially anyone that works with animals. So that you, as you do every day, this has been something lifelong for you, right?
Yeah.
And like in her on her webpage, she's rescued and raised all kinds of critters. I love how she calls them critters. I mean,
Family
it's
members.
amazing to understand your gift at such a young age, and maybe it naturally, organically unfolded when it was supposed to. But I mean, it was there from, I think,
Yeah,
from
there were
birth.
glimpses from the very beginning.
That's so
Yeah,
beautiful.
little nuggets along the ways.
Now that one thing you were telling me about the class you took from New Zealand. Am I saying that right?
Oh, you mean about the Huna, the
Huna.
Lemurians?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was sailing along happy as Larry, doing my shiatsu stuff and my meridian-based things for the animals, and I was looking into the astrology, of course, and I used astrology quite a lot just for a diagnostic tool for the animals. It kind of is a shorthand to how people or animals are going to behave. And I also used it as a weather report. The sun, and just the sun and the moon, and then sometimes the other planets that would come in. They do influence humans as a whole, whether you like it or not. Now, in 2021, I got what was called the bump. I was, like I said, minding my own business. I came across a video of Huna Flash, Huna Maiuta Taki, and he is a shaman from New Zealand and Huna. And after the video, I had suddenly whales and dolphins coming to me in my meditations, which never did. In fact, it was shortly after that I actually did a meridian balancing for a humpback whale, which was fascinating to me. I'd never done that before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was beyond fast. She presented herself. She said, "Hey, can I?" And I had to very quickly remember my zoology classes and how the anatomy of a fluke, because if you actually take an X-ray of a fluke on a mammal, it will still have the same bone structure as your human foot. It will look slightly different, but all the phalanges, all the bones are still the same.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, she was really thrilled, and it was an experience. It's a very large animal, so the energy that the whales and the dolphins carry is very unique. And when they arrived, there was suddenly this very strong pressure that was applied on my spine and on my shoulders. And so Huna had, he does something that's called a seal. And it is a process where he gives you your Huna, they call it a name, but actually it's your Huna essence that you are finding. So when I speak my name, my essence, my Huna name is Kamaroha. And light in the darkness, which is the essence. And so I have been listening to and taking his course, and I have been learning a lot more about Lemuria 5, which we are actually in.
Okay, let's explain that. Can we explain that real quick? Lemuria, we've all heard of Lemuria and Atlantis. Go ahead.
Absolutely, everybody. We are actually on Lemuria 5, planet Matea, and the planet of light. We entered that, and we are suddenly transitioning from, or I should say just easily transitioning, it's the same as we go along. And it brings us back into the alignment of the natural astrology. And so like I was telling Valerie, we are currently in the birth sign of what's called Tirani, and that is the sign of the hummingbird, and it's called the tiny voice from heaven. That means right now for everybody that's born from February 1st through the 28th, your birth sign is the hummingbird. But what you're going to find is absolutely everybody is bathed in this essence of the hummingbird of Tirani. So you're going to have sudden insights of sacred knowledge coming to you directly funneled from the universe. Expect it. It's coming.
And see, and that's what I say about Aquarius season, right? They're so closely connected. And you're saying Huna, and it's a New Zealand shamanism.
You can actually find him, Huna Flash TV,
Huna Flash
HUNA, and then Flash FLASH TV, and he shares the knowledge and the wisdom. He does a live stream every Sunday.
Oh,
and so he saves all the live streams are in there, and it is a huge wealth of knowledge to absorb. So just sit with it and listen to the different knowledges. He's actually a working shaman, and so he travels around resetting stargates around the globe. So some of the time he is in Mexico, which is his home base, but a lot of times he will be out resetting the different stargates around the planet.
Wow. Now, when this his name is Huna, HUNA, Huna. Okay, and is it on? Is his show on Sunday night on YouTube?
It's actually Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoon.
So if you were to just put that in as a YouTube search, you'll find it.
I would love to learn more about it because it sounds fascinating. So when he says the Meridian 5, meaning that we're
already in those energies. And so the astrology that you and I was doing at that time was for the Earth system. Like we were saying, I've got to hide under a bushel basket. I've got to hide my light. That was all the characteristics from being in the last age.
Yes.
You know, we would say in the age of Capricorn, you better believe in your structure system and the powers from just one central thing. And you know, that is part of that older, I think they call it a Yugo. So that older last 2,000 years of our evolution, basically. And now, even though they kept saying we're coming into the age of Aquarius, well, yeah, we know those qualities and everything. And some of those qualities easily carry over into, you know, and nature's going jazz hands. Hey, I'm telling you, it's actually it's not an Aquarian. It's a hummingbird. It is a Kireni.
Well, you know that the similarities, right? Aquarius is energy, right? Fast, moving, energy. So is a hummingbird.
Same as a hummingbird. And they go in any direction, the hummingbird.
Right.
Can go in any direction. Same as the thinking on an Aquarian.
Right.
They
so
are
I love
it's a blending. It is. It's so naturally, it so naturally goes from one to the other. Yeah.
So cool. So cool. Now, as you go further into, you got the seal. The seal meant what for you as a healer?
Me, with the seal, it took a long time for me to unpack it. And it was a lot of, although I tend to do it anyways, I tend to stand one foot in each world. It took a lot for me to integrate because, as I had said, I was really pretty deeply ingrained in the regular astrology. So I was using it as a shorthand. If you had a horse in front of me that was early part of May, I would stand back and go,
sorry.
Could have a really good work ethic or could be lazy. We still here?
Yeah, we just popped out for a second.
Okay, great.
You said the horse. You said when I was standing.
Okay.
Horse
Okay. So, right. If we had a horse, say, born at the first part of May, let's say it was like a May 7th, just for something to throw out there, or May 8th. We know in the old school that's Taurus, and a Taurus baby for a horse would either have one of two types of work ethics. He would either have a really good work ethic and just love work, and consistency would be the key for either of them. Or he could be kind no work ethic and a little bit lazy, and he loves his kibbles too much. Now, when we go into the Lemurian, the birth sign for May 1st through May 28th is actually called Toroa. And that is the sign of the albatross. And the albatross is its determination. It is being like the observer. You're seeing things from a distance. You are up on high. And that is actually the 11th. No, excuse me. That is the 12th month of the Lemurian zodiac.
Oh, wow. So this
there's instead of 12 birth signs, there's actually 13.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order to bring it back into the nature rhythm, it is 12 birth signs, which are called motus, M-O-T-U, but they revolve around the center light, and how the center light, the central crystal, Ma'ita, is when we have, like this one's going to be at the end of February, there is a 29th day. So if you were born on the 29th, the 30th, or the 31st, you're actually born in what's considered Ma'ita, which is the crystal light of days, which sits at the center. It's the center sun, and that is the light that then shines out through all the other essences of all the other motus throughout the year.
Yeah, that is really cool. But how long have you been, or where did you find this type of information, like the Lemurian 5?
I found it from Huna Flash on literally on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
And he has what's called a Dragon Master course.
Oh,
and
cool.
So yes, yeah. And so all of this information, there's a lot. I mean, it is a lot of information. And Huna, as I said, he's just turned 60, and he's been in the mystery school since he was, he went in for training when he was 7 years old.
Wow.
So,
wow. Yeah. I'm really fascinated to learn about him. And I'm very grateful that you're bringing it up and letting us and sharing with us, because we all love this stuff, right? We love all these dots connecting, higher and higher, and understanding more in this vibration of, especially the vibration of, we don't have to hide in a corner anymore. We can stand up and be proud of who we are, and you can speak freely and say, I'm an animal healer, and so forth and so on. We all have little our own interest in that energy, because that is the way forward. I mean, to me, it should have always been that way, but energy is the way forward. And as we look at it, in whether you look at it through the Lemurian site, Huna, or if we're looking at it as we're ascending, however you want to articulate that, what we're going through, but we all feel something is.
It's the upcoming. It is literally this shift that has already happened.
Yeah.
Everybody take a deep breath over that, because they're like, end of times is no. This is the good news, everybody. We're actually already living. We're already living in the future, and life is good. So it's okay. Take a deep breath. It's going to be okay.
These people already get that. They know that we're not going back, and the world's not going to end. We
need to learn new skills, which is called reaching out to each other, creating bridges and friendships, remembering that we are humans first.
Yeah.
And so the division thing needs to be laid down. We have more in common with each other than we have divisions with each other.
Absolutely. And everyone here knows that that's being perpetrated onto humanity for
everybody, because divided we, united we stand, divided we fall.
And then they're making money off it, right?
They're both sides.
Both sides.
Any side.
Money and the power, right?
Any side.
Right. Let's do it together. Right?
So
Um,
would you
I
like
agree.
to, in order to loop back to the animals, which I'm sorry,
Yeah.
everybody, we've been kind of
No, I
sidetracked there,
love
but
it. I love it. I think you're
if
fascinating.
if you would like, what we can do is I can go through a demo of the energy that you can experience on one of the MP3s.
Okay.
It's what I do is going to be silent because, as I was telling Val before, it's actually a right-brained activity for me, a non-verbal thing.
Hmm.
So I'm going to be, even though I'm really chatty normally, I'm going to be quiet for just a few as I set the divine meridians, if that would work for. And
Sure.
you don't have to shove your animals anywhere near the keyboard. Trust me. This is quantum energy that's going to be working for absolutely everybody. And even
Okay.
though I started off doing horse and rider, I do actually work on humans. The problem is all of us have baggage, self
Mhm.
included. So when
Yeah.
somebody comes at you, they're going, "Oh, you're really going to enjoy this." You know, a lot of times we're like, "But my stuff." Animals will let go of their stuff a lot
Yeah.
faster than a human will. Trust
Yeah.
me. So after a
That's
while,
the
it's like
truth.
whatever. But yeah.
We're learning.
Anybody in the area is going to get this. And the nice thing about it is, well, I'll caveat that with whenever you go to play the MP3s, watch your animals. Sometimes they can need a break from it.
Mm.
But if they're good with it, if their energy system's looking good, you can leave it running. If you're in an apartment building, this is actually going to work for everybody in the apartment building and the surrounding environment. So the more you play this stuff, for the longer you play the
Mm-hmm.
stuff, the happier the environment gets. It's more balanced.
Because energy just constantly is flowing, right? Flowing out, flowing out.
Hmm. And it will
And
take the stronger vibe. Sure.
yes, yes, I love it. I love it.
Okay,
And
great. So if you'd like, I'll go ahead and get started.
sure, please.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, and I don't think I'm going to be doing any yawning. Usually, if I hit congestions, I'm not going to really reach into the collective right now. But a lot of times, the yawning is just because I've hit some congestion somewhere,
Okay.
and it's how the energy will seek, kind of like electricity does. It will seek the easiest conduit, which tends to be me. Although you may actually see your animals yawning while I'm
Okay.
doing this. Here we go, everybody. Ooh, closing of the throat for everyone there. And open. Oh, some really ungrounded people and puppies. We're already at the halfway point. I'm doing the second side. There we go. Okay, everybody. Well done.
That was nice. Thank you. That felt really good. Thank you so much.
You're
Oh, you're
welcome.
fascinating. You're fascinating, and you really can get that connection to where that energy just flows into you. Where I could feel it. Like I started rocking. Just felt really good. You know, I didn't know. I was just going with it.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Randy is asking, can we please send some healing energy to Millie? She's a
Does
dog.
Millie have something on her hind?
Let
No,
us
it
know.
was like the hind left. It was like
Let,
a hind left leg. Because if so, then we probably did actually just clear that. There were a
it's
couple
not
of
his,
places that I was picking up on the collective.
okay, because he's saying it's not his pup. It's a friend's. Okay, so he doesn't know, I guess, that my
Not a
cat
problem.
is right behind me sleeping.
Oh,
The other cat was outside the door and she started just yelling, like just a couple of long, she's getting older and she's been doing that. I don't
well,
know, but I feel she.
mentally, mentally, I haven't actually reached out to anybody's pets. So if you're sitting there going, "Oh, they're not actually doing anything," it's like because I haven't actually opened up to it.
Oh,
Just kind of working the energy field here, but
oh, look, yes, Randy did say rear leg. Yes.
I bumped into that whenever I was actually clearing the collective. So yeah, it's actually been. I sent a really vibrant white light to that, replacing that joint. So yeah, I bumped into that. We did have as a collective too. Whenever I was working the throat, you could hear me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something came in and was shutting down the throat chakra for the whole collective, which I find interesting because it's like, no, we're not doing that. I'm actually continuing to work some of the energy field. There was somebody's front left elbow that got cleared as well. But the main thing on this was I wasn't actually feeling into anybody specifically. This was just stuff that was starting to come in. These were divine flows. These were, what I mean by that is I imprinted the perfect energy flow for the meridian to make it look like crystal rivers whenever they're flowing correctly.
Yeah, I love that. You're
Oh,
welcome, Randy.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that for sure. You can actually Google a tear duct massage. Very gentle. It's going to take a very kind of like stroking an egg. But you can actually look up the tear ducts on that, and that will help because a lot of times we will have dry eye conditions in the wintertime. And you can help to rub their tear ducts. Just actually kind of what I'm doing for your guy right now. And that can help.
That's so beautiful. Thank you, Debbie.
And you know you did it right if you got clear snot coming out the nose. It should look like I got a little teardrop coming out the nose.
Okay.
Because essentially that's what it is. The tear ducts actually drain into the nose system. Oh, somebody's got a headache. Hang on, gang.
Beautiful.
We're gonna get that cleared right now. Yeah,
Thank you.
that's not okay. We're gonna get rid of that. I can't tell. It's a small head, whoever that is. Cat, dog, might be a poodle. Oh, bless. Sure. One of the things that I'll share with that, because I've actually had an elderly Kawadi Monday that had that problem, and what I did for her specifically was I took flax seeds and I bought a $5 coffee grinder from Walmart, and I specifically used just that for that purpose. And it was a very small amount. I'm thinking like a quarter of a teaspoon because it fluffs up huge whenever you grind it. But I would fresh grind that and then sprinkle that over her food. And what you're going to find is do that once, twice a day. And it helps to shrink the tumors.
My goodness, that's amazing. My dog Buddy he had pink skin. He had those little tumors over him. And you're saying use flaxseed oil, grind it up in a grinder. And
no, use flax seeds.
Flaxseed. flax
Yes.
seed.
I've had plenty of people that have asked me about the oils, and I have to say I haven't specifically used it. I'm sharing specifically what I did to reduce the size of the tumors because she had huge ones in her abdomen.
Okay,
And
so
she was
flax
elderly,
seed.
so there was no chance of operating. And I used a dog room, so you don't. I'm going to warn you: don't operate if you don't have to, because one of my clients that was in the 90s, they operated on a tumor, and within 2 months, it had not only grown back, it grew back larger. And we ended up
Larger.
losing the dog after that. So don't do it. If you can avoid it, don't do it. The flaxseed was definitely the better way to go. With mine case, like I said, it's flax seed. Put it in a coffee grinder, and just that coffee grinder. Because what's going to happen with the flax seed is as you grind it, it will create like this film around your coffee grinder. It's kind of gunky. You just want to have it dedicated just for that because it's pretty gross to have that in your morning Joe. So, but yeah, just sprinkle it, and you ideally you want them to eat that within 5 minutes. So sprinkle it on the food, get it in front of your pet, let them eat it. It's a very pleasant flavor. It tastes just like almonds.
Yes.
So yeah, it goes with anything. I used to have it all over my almond, let's see, omelets and salads, but any of her wet food we would put that in.
So this works for us too, but that gunky stuff that gets caught up in there is the stuff that's for healing, right? All the when it gets ground
it's kind
up.
of just a thin film. I mean, if you grind it, it's all nice and fluffy, and then you put that. Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
It is beautiful.
Yeah, but yeah, you certainly do that, and that will help. I'm going to give you one more caveat on the flaxseed because we are so used to taking a pill and having it act within 20 minutes. This is going to take time. It took about 2 weeks for the pain to No, Karen, it wasn't you. I actually saw somebody's black poodle, or it might have been even a black min pin.
Liz's headache is lifting. That's amazing.
Great. Yeah, everybody can hop on board with that energy. Right now, I'm working around right shoulder blades for some reason. There's a lot of right. I would imagine for humans more than anything. So as we're talking, I'm just continuing to manipulate the energy fields. And if you would like, I can open up and just say hi to everybody's pets.
Yeah.
But,
sure.
Yeah, okay. Let me finish what I'm doing here energetically first.
That's fascinating.
Okay. I have no idea what we're going to get here, but we'll see. We'll see. And like I said, some of these guys could be real cool cucumbers, so we might not actually get anything at all. Here we go. There we go. We'll see if anybody gets any responses on that. I got a lot of happiness here.
Aww.
Somebody's cockatiel is spreading their wings for me. That may actually be. That actually may be a visitor.
Uh-oh. I lost you. There you go. Come back. I lost you for a second. Somebody's cockatiel is spreading their wings. How beautiful.
There we go. But I'm open for any questions, or if anybody's got any critters that need any little bit of extra
let
energy.
us know if anyone needs anything.
I can certainly open it up to clearing some congestion on this right now.
I wanted to ask you about when you said the throat was blocked for the whole community. Are you saying for our whole community, our throats? See, I feel like that a lot. I feel like
you collectively got stopped, and that was why I mentioned it whenever I was doing that, because it's like, whoa, that wasn't just us. That was the animals. That was the collective. That was everything.
Isn't that something? So if you feel that, because I feel that a lot, like the throat is being blocked. What can I do anything? I mean, I use the energy from my heart. I do send love out. I am, I send you love and peace. And is that enough?
Instantly, that can start it. What I find is that first demo that we did with a grounding technique, instantly imagine or envision the light flowing and let it be whatever color it wants to be. And don't get hung up on that. But go ahead and just envision it just streaming down. And in fact, you could even use like a honey texture, like a golden honey texture. What causes that is we're going to say that those are old stories hanging out in the environment. It's an old construct that's left over from the old age. And if you remember, I told you we are all now in the new age. So that was an old memory. That is something that is trying to reestablish its authority, and it has none in the new world. So what I do is I envision actually the light, just white light streaming down, or you can do a gooey whole golden honey, but you can just stream it all the way down through your throat. And then once that's cleansed and you can start to feel that open, if you feel you need more protection in the world, you can envision a crystalline structure that's, a shield, a clear shield in front of your throat.
Yeah. See, I do that. Thank you for that. Thank you for really helping us with that, because I feel that I tend to feel that a lot, especially on shows and watching even shows of other spiritual.
You need to set your shield. That bubble that I told you that I walked everybody through, put your bubbles up.
Yeah, I did that before we even got together. And it just seems like, and I do a couple other things. I use dragons a lot. Dragons are always here. My dog buddy came in as a white dragon today to be with us. He's just like, and he did appreciate you really helping him out when he was struggling.
He was definitely, and that's the other thing, because Valerie, I helped her with her fellow whenever he was at the end of his story, as I say it. And what I can do in that scenario is I can help you with them to be more comfortable. But if it's their time, I can't do anything about that. If it's, and what you will find is all of us actually, we have our own, you got that right. We have our own storylines that we pretty much have written before we came in. The animals are the same way. Sometimes they will extend their lifespan. I've had animals do that for me because they've seen the need. And they've, I've always been respectful of it's like, if you gotta go, you gotta go, because they wear out so much faster. They have to go back over to the other side to replenish. And a lot of times they come back over. Either they will continue to hang out as spirits, and then we will have new souls come join us to help us, or they will come back in another form, either a continuation of a pet, another cat, or another dog will come in, which is odd, because I was talking to you previously, and I don't know if he'll pop back in or if he's just simply showing himself in that realm, but he's small. He's a white puppy. He's not a full-size dog when I see him.
Buddy.
Yeah. Because I worked on him obviously whenever he was well grown. So he looks about a 2-month-old pup.
Oh, see, my son and his girlfriend adopted, I want to say 2 or 3 months ago, a Pomsky. He was a baby. Now he's just a big fluff white dot. I call him a white dot. He's the cutest thing. He's smart.
He's cute, but he's not that. He's smooth-coated. The dog that I see is a white smooth-coated puppy, about 2 months old. So I don't know if that is simply his idea of, where he is at right now. That's very possible. That's the representation that he's wanting to put out there, or that potentially could just be a new baby that'll come in later. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I know. I'm waiting. I'm not sure. I think I'm going to get another cat.
Timing is everything. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And I don't feel, with your guy specifically, I don't feel that there's any pressure or need. He's there present, but there's no, I gotta come back in right now. Yeah. And there is, for some of us that have had pets in the past, we're kind of in holding patterns right now. And I think it's just because we have a bit of shifting to do with the energy that we have here. Yes. And if you've got an animal that is suddenly in your presence, especially cats. Cats just love to annoy people this way. They popped up. Grudgingly accept the fact that they are probably here for a reason for you at this time.
Yes. Yeah, I feel that our pets are definitely assisting us as we
Yes.
flow in.
And
I call it flowing in the energy because I feel like that's what we're doing. It's not a harsh thing. It's just a flow. I don't know. What do you feel that it's a flow or
the whole thing has been a flow.
flow?
It's just a matter of who's controlling it and what we've been. And that's the other thing too. And like I said, we're overstimulated. I'm not going to get into the technology behind it, but what you see on the screens is not necessarily reality. It's not necessarily true. And it's easy to generate through the screens frequencies that are more harmful. So if you're getting stressed out, turn off the TV, shut off your phone, go for a walk in nature.
Get to the couple crystals. I have crystals everywhere. And I bless saging, or I bless my energy. I bless my area all the time. I just stop and say thank you. And I mean, wow. Yeah. Oh, let's see. We got crow friends. I love crow friends.
I adore crows. I have a whole murder of them, actually. They're about 40 strong. Yeah, I've had them protect me from 3 different people. So I love my crows. Actually, no, now that I think of it, four times. Yeah, let's just say some people with some nefarious ideas. I don't know why they think it was such a good idea to pick on me. It was pretty stupid. But yeah, the crows are like, wah! And then they come swooping in. It freaks them out and shoos them off. So.
Yeah. So is she doing okay giving them meat, cooked oatmeal, and eggs?
Great.
Yeah, I'm coming over.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Unless anyone has any other questions, please know that Debbie's information is in the description box. I'll put her website up here one more time. She's fascinating. I love it. Thank you so much for coming in and hanging with us and showing us and explaining to us how you do what you do. Anyone can contact her for anything. She does 3 different sessions, but they're very affordable, and I'm sure she'll work with you on if you have more need for your pet in some way. And thank you for telling us about Huna Flash. That sounds fascinating. And I hope to have you come back on and have another little healing powwow with all of our friends here. And thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, guys, if there's no questions, we love you, and we will be back in another date. Thank you, Teresa said it was lovely.
Oh, thank you so much.
We appreciate all of you. I love y'all's energy. Thank you so much. And Amanda's saying, I'm just going to say what I mean. Oh, mushrooms. I don't know where. We're in the mushrooms. Is that an inside joke or?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah. All right, guys.
Yeah.
We love you. Be safe out there, and we'll see you soon. Blessings to you. Thank you, Debbie.